Joining us now, Brandon Beach, state senator, Republican in the Cobb County area. Actually, we're staying, I think, in his district here in Cobb County, right by the Atlanta Braves' new baseball stadium. And Brandon Beach running for the Republican nomination for Congress in the 6th District to face off against former airline stewardess Lucy McBath, who pulled the upset over never-Trumper Karen Handel. Hey, Brandon. Great to have you, man.
Hey, John. Good to be on your show, and welcome to Georgia. Glad your son's doing well in his baseball tournament.
Well, it's always good to be back. I was here for how long, Brandon? 20 years?
God, you a long time.
I was here a long history. I had to leave town, though. No, I'm just kidding.
We've done great. We're proud of you.
Well, thank you, Brandon. So it's always good to be back here in the Peach State. And so, Brandon, tell me about this race you're running against never-Trumper Karen. I mean, did she already get beat? Like, why is she trying to run again? Isn't it time for disruption there? Tell us what's going on.
That's why I'm running. I will tell you, she's never been reelected to an office in her career. So, and I don't think she can beat Lucy McBath. I think I'm the candidate that can do that. I know I'm the candidate that can do that. So we're in this race, and I will tell you, I'm here to run and take the conservative principles that we've implemented here in Georgia and try to take those to Washington. You know, when you look at the state of Georgia, we're the number one state to do business 6 years in a row. And that didn't happen by accident. That's because of Republican policies such as cutting taxes, cutting regulations, having a AAA bond rating, $2.5 billion rainy day fund, being pro-business, and rolling out the red carpet and making sure we're investing in education and infrastructure. And that's one of the things I want to do. I want to go to Washington and help President Trump with infrastructure. I know that he wants to rebuild our infrastructure. And, we have an aging system, interstate system and infrastructure system, and President Trump wants to, rebuild that, and I want to help him do that. And that's one of my things that I think I bring to the table with being the chairman of the Transportation Committee in the State Senate.
Beach, how do you stand on the president's immigration policies, the wall, and securing the border?
I'm all for that, and I'm going to support the president on immigration, on building the wall. I want to support him on infrastructure investment, and I want to support him on health care. Our health care system's broken. He wants to fix it, and I'm going to be there to help him fix it.
Now, let me ask you this, Brandon. The president's gotten undue criticism here. He's been called a racist by a number of congresswomen, including the Speaker of the House. There's an impeachment proceeding vote going on today over this tweet that he sent out that basically said, look, if you don't like the country you live in, go back to where you came from. Everybody's going crazy over that. The legacy fake news lying media, their hair's on fire. Can you defend that tweet?
Well, let me tell you, the president is not a racist. I mean, you can look at some of his appointments he's made throughout his administration since he's become president, and he is not a racist, number one. Number two, President Trump loves our country. I mean, you can see that by his appreciation of our troops. He loves that you can be an American and you can pursue your dreams and have economic opportunity and prosperity. And the other thing you can see from President Trump is his strong commitment to family, to his family and to people and their families. But I would tell you, I think President Trump, just like most Americans, he's frustrated with the far left complaining about how bad America is. Mm-hmm. I can tell you we are so fortunate to live in this country and have the economic opportunities and the freedoms that we have. And I can't believe anybody would complain about that. And so I think he's frustrated. I'm frustrated that people are not happy to be here. And I think he lashed out. And so I don't think he's a racist in any way, shape, or form. I think he's just disappointed that people are not bragging about how great we have it here. I mean, we are very, very fortunate. You're here in Atlanta right now. I want you to look next time you drive out, John, at all the cranes and all the construction and all the prosperity. People are doing very, very well. When you're talking about 3.5% unemployment, that's basically zero unemployment. If someone wants a job, they can find a job. And that's because of President Trump's economic policies on cutting taxes, but more importantly, cutting regulations. The regulations he's cut has really spurred our economy. And so I'm all about jobs. And let me be very clear. Government does not create jobs. The private sector does.
Right.
But what government can do is create a conducive environment through tax policy, less regulation, an educated workforce, and infrastructure investment for private, entities to be successful and hire people and create jobs and let people pursue the American dream. And that's what President Trump's done. So that's why he's frustrated, because he's done so much good, and yet everybody complains how bad things are. And I don't blame him for being frustrated.
You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network. We're live in Atlanta, Georgia today. This is our Political Disruptor segment. We're with Republican candidate for Congress, Brandon Beach. He's trying to win back the old Tom Price seat, Dr. Price becoming the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Trump fired him for flying around on private jets. And so, see you, Tom. Then in that seat, that was the 6th district, northern Georgia suburbs, Karen Handel won a special election. She had run for governor and a whole bunch of things, and then got beat by Lucy McBath. Karen Handel, avowed never Trumper, right? She doesn't like the president. You get her elected there. Even if she wins, first of all, she can't win. And even if she does win, she's going to vote against the president half the time. So why bother? Like, haven't we been down that path, right? All those never Trumper losers got beat in 2018. Good riddance. She's just another one of them. Beach is the guy because he's fighting hard for the president. Brandon Beach, State Senate Republican. Who else is in this race, Brandon?
Well, you got myself, Karen Handel, and Marjorie Greene, and Nicole Rodden, and Ken Brown. And to your point, John, we've held this seat since 1979. Newt Gingrich, Johnny Isakson, Tom Price, and then Karen won in a special election against a guy named John Ossoff, he was right out of college, didn't live in the district, and she barely won that race. And then 15 months later lost to Lucy McBath, an airline stewardess, an airline flight attendant who actually lived in Tennessee, and she lost that seat with $8.3 million in an incumbent. And I would agree with you. I think one of the reasons she lost, she distanced herself from President Trump and would not embrace President Trump and his policies. And we have to embrace the president on his policies and continue to get this economy moving forward like it is. So we can win this seat back. I believe it's a Republican seat. We just have to have someone in there that can beat Lucy, and I'm the candidate that can do that.
Well, the bottom line is if Handel gets the nomination, she can't win. And if she does win by happenstance, she's a never Trumper that is going to be a worthless Republican, always giving comments, blasting Trump no matter what he does. So what good is it?
Well, and I think
that's my
and I would
point.
tell you this, John, the fundraising was, it was due yesterday, and I will tell you that's a clear indication of why we're going to win this race. We led in fundraising in the second quarter. We raised $235,000. Karen raised $210,000. And so we feel real good about where we're at as far as the momentum, the business community, the grassroots community backing our campaign. And we went from 125 the first quarter to 235. So we went up, and the other candidates did not. So we feel real good about the momentum we've got in this campaign.
Isn't Karen Handel like the Harold Stassen now of Georgia politics, like the perennial candidate running for every? She's like the mini Harold Stassen, right? What did she run for? She ran for a supervisor, Fulton County supervisor, then Secretary of State, then governor, then this governor, then senator, then Congress, now Congress again. I mean, is there an office that she hasn't attempted to run for? School board, maybe? I mean, what did she just run for every office?
Well, all I know is to what I said earlier, she's never been reelected. And I've been battle tested. I've been reelected to the Senate 4 times. And so I'm in my 4th term in the Senate. And so I'm battle tested, and I can take on Lucy McBath and win this race and win it back for the Republicans and flip it back. And I think it's a seat that's going to have a lot of national attention, and one of the seats we have to win back if we're going to take the majority.
Oh, you look, if you're going to win the majority back in take the gavel from Pelosi. You absolutely have to win this seat. This is a Republican seat. Brandon Beach, battle tested, and wants to take it on. Also, when Karen ran in the midterms in 2018, she ran away from Trump's tax cut. I mean, this is how bizarre her campaign was. Not only did she run away from the president, and she's a never Trumper, she ran away from his tax cut, for heaven's sakes, which has been at the core of the biggest economic boom in 50 years. She would be such a disaster again. And aren't the people just tired of her? All right, Beach, you're the guy. If people want more information on your campaign, where do they go?
Beachforcongress.com.
All right, so go to
Beachforcongress.com.
That's pretty easy. Beach, like you could go to the beach, not B-E-E.
Correct. B-E-A-C-H for Congress.com.
All right, now, Beach, if you get elected, are you going to come on my show all the time?
Yeah, I'll be on your show anytime you want me.
That's what they all say, right? Well, I'm right here in D.C., so I'm going to camp out right in front of your office. Got that little sign, Brandon Beach, 6th District, Georgia. I'm going to camp out there, and I'm going to do my show from your office, Beach.
Okay.
All right. Brandon Beach, running for Congress. He's a disruptor. Hey, man, you got to help him out. Go to beachforcongress.com. That's beachforcongress.com. Hey, if you'd like to get rid of Nancy and the Comm Squad, this is the things you got to do. This is why we have our Disruptor segment. And of anybody we've had on, Brandon Beach has got the best chance of actually winning this seat and flipping it back. It should be a Republican seat. He's the best candidate. No question about it. His main opponent, Karen Handel, 5-time loser, never Trumper. What's the point? What's the point of these never Trumpers in the Republican Party? She's part of the Mitt Romney wing. Enough already. Go with Beach. Hey, thanks for being with us, Brandon.